Welcome to Kill Team Casuals, a podcast all about Kill Team filmed in 3 different time zones by 3 different gents. In this episode, we go rules deep into the new Ashes of Faith teams, doing a live review casual style. Enjoy.
Wellity. We are
Wellington,
live.
New Zealand.
I mean, welcome. That's one of the few continents we don't have involved in the podcast. But we're here. Welcome,
Now
everybody.
that we've dropped a thank you.
Yes.
Who knows?
Anything could happen. You may notice today there's no guests. We don't have our usual guest host, Ben from, you may know him from Battle Brothers Tabletop. He's just out in the world
Or his wrestling pseudonym. Bam Ben Bigelow.
I think we spoke about this during the week. I also still think he could also be the Big Show. I definitely think that would be another one.
I mean, I think he is the Big Show.
Yeah, I just think Ben the Big Show, it works really, really well.
Ben the Big Show.
Yeah, but look, Bam also works. I also appreciate
Bam Big Show.
The landslide. Anyway, he's not here. He's not here today. It's just the two of us.
Nope.
So it's me, and of course, big fan of the show, turns up very regularly. It's Russ from GFN Gaming.
Oh, he's almost always here. You know, what can I say? We're a guest down, but we're also 2 guests up. Myself and the wonderful, the ever-present, the handsome man from Down Under, the Thunder from Down Under. It's Rhys from Threes to Wound. Obviously.
Thank you for having me on your show, Russ, today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to be a guest.
And for having me on the show.
Well, it's been an interesting week of Kill Team shenanigans because
has it?
I don't know if it's going to be controversial to say, but Ashes of Faith surprisingly troubles with the pre-orders again.
You're joking me.
Right?
You are hidden.
Crazy.
You're hidden me here. I was a little bit late. I was away. I had a weekend away visiting a mate in Newcastle, and I was admittedly not watching my phone. But at 10 to 6, I noticed. At 6 minutes past 10 in the morning, I noticed that it was 6 minutes past 10, and I was like, "Oh God, what have I done?" And I looked on, and it was obviously out. The internet had forgotten it even existed. It did not exist anywhere. It was gone. I think it's sold out. I checked my messages afterwards from the Kill Team group, and I think at 10:00 it was already sold out.
Yes.
Like someone was at 10 o'clock going, got a copy, and then someone was at 10 going, sold out everywhere. And I was like, wow. Damn.
I picture it's, when people try to get tickets to gigs and they sit there with like 9 iPads and their desktop computer and a laptop and they're refreshing on everything trying to get one going. It's got to that point. It's got to that point.
Crazy.
Which is
Billy Joel or something.
Yeah. The comparison is very, very spot on. Billy Joel and Ashes of Faith.
It's pretty much.
There's
a song there somewhere.
I must admit though, and I don't know if everyone out in the rest of the world found this though. Obviously, with Gallowfall, very similar issue. Like it went out in 2 seconds. Everyone was like, "I'm never going to get it." A lot of people were really upset, but then I got it quite easy when it actually arrived. And it's not a humble brag.
Hell with you, Rhys.
That's not a humble brag. That's just me
I actually got 3 copies, and I was going to sell them on eBay for a profit, but I just decided to burn them. Just for fun. Just because it was so easy to get.
Do you know how much money you can make scalping this stuff? I don't know why more people are doing it.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of people have been putting up posts and being like, I found them here. I've seen them here. So it's more of a question to the chat. Even I'm being shit canned in the chat now, actually, for bragging about it. So welcome to the chat. Sorry, obviously as well. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Even you may shit can me at your leisure.
I mean, it's almost a have to be shit can moment, but my local, I had to travel an hour to get there, but I was there for a tournament. So the local place I play tournaments, Element Games in Stockport, had like randomly like 7 or like 10 copies of Gallowfall as we turned up to do the tournament. It was like 9 o'clock just before they opened. And they had a whole bunch of, like, we all could have got one, but I had to stay strong. I was like, I've already said I won't get it. And then someone said something like, it's like £95. And I was like, ooh. But I stayed strong. But yeah, so that's the only thing I'm thinking is maybe I'll just like nip by Stockport Element Games and see if they
an hour down the road just whip out.
Yeah, see if they actually have like a random spare copy, just because it seems to be such a hit and miss thing that they're like places are only allowed two like boxes, or certain places were. But yeah,
I actually of all places I actually got mine from a Warhammer store, which was crazy, like unheard of. What a weird unit. But I was just like, there's one right near me. I was like, I'm just going to stick my head in and say g'day, because I was pretty sure the other place I usually go didn't have any. So I just walked in.
Well, and you were going there for your book site, like your signing, like your VIP access day, so people could see and touch.
Well, I mean, there's a small area of skin on my arm that I just put through the plastic protective sheet, and they can just very delicately stroke that.
So just a little bit. Yeah, I saw the man, the myth, the moist Rhys Simon here one night only, and there he was.
And I was like, while I'm here, but it was that thing. I had that moment. I walked in the door, and there was someone at the counter, and they were bagging up a Gallowfall, and I was like, that's the last one. I was like,
that's the one.
I've missed it.
Do you put the boots to them?
And then
medium style start kicking.
I just backed out the door and waited around the corner, and that's how I got it. Super easy. No, but then I did that thing where when I walked in and the guy's like, "Hey, how are you? What can I help you with today?" I was just like, I panicked. I was just like, I didn't want to ask for it. I was just like, I'm here for.
Everyone panics under those questions.
Varnish.
What you call it? It's like when the window cleaners come and you're standing in the room and all of a sudden the ladders clink next to the window and you're like, oh God. And you're looking around going, what can I hide behind a sofa? And then you see the hand come up and then you just whoosh, lie on the floor being like, please God, don't look down. It's like that when they ask you this question, deer in headlights. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. They say, what army are you collecting? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I am. Oh no!
Just give him $5.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, and then luckily, in my awkward, panicked moment of going, I'll take this can of varnish because I panicked. And I was like, you don't happen to have any Gallowfall? And then he was just like pointed at and was like literally right in front of me, like at the counter. I was like, one of those, please. Like, I was buying condoms and I was trying to hide it with other things. That was like what it ended up like. I don't know why I ended up like that, but it did. I took it. I committed to that at that point.
I've asked for it now. I didn't want it.
Yeah.
Every time I go in there, more varnish.
I was too embarrassed to take it back. So yeah, that was my story of getting it. But I have seen a lot of people saying, local gaming stores getting more stock than maybe expected, or because a lot of them do sort of say it's not like they don't know. They're like, they can't guarantee. They're like, we know we're going to get some. Yeah. But they're never like, oh, we're going to have 6 or we're going to have lots. Don't worry about it.
It seems like an odd, well, again, not being in the old retail, I'm not running a shop, but I'd like to know a little bit more about it. I guess they must be told, because they must at one point, because I remember they used to check, they'd be like, who wants a copy? And it would go out and everyone would be like, oh, I'd like a copy. They get the rough numbers and they'd be like, 8, cool, that's what I'll ask for. And maybe I'll ask for 10 and get 10. But now it was like, how many wants one? And they were like, 5. And then the next message was like, I can only get 2. They'll only give me 2. And it was like, right, but they know they could sell 5 with you, right? And he's like, yes. Obviously, I could sell like X number, but they're only giving me this. And it's like, right.
And then they just throw a screwdriver amongst the people that want it and just
it's that scene where the Joker snaps the pool cue and we're having auditions.
Yeah.
Winner stays.
That's it. So did you have any luck with, so you obviously missed Ashes of Faith because of your, because you went, you dared to step away from your phone for 6 minutes.
Social life, yeah. which is annoying because if I hadn't, I would have been sat at my computer. Although it's good because I could have been sat at my computer pressing F5 and then still have missed it.
Yes.
And have not done anything with the rest of the weekend. So at least I had a fallback. So yeah.
That's something. That's, that's something.
Yeah.
Well,
I do just want the what do you call it? The cultists. So I might just try and find the cultists somewhere.
So no real interest in the Inquisition, or just more because you'll kit bash?
There's some of the models I really love. I love that dude with the spear behind his back.
Yes. He inspired a kit bash I recently did as well.
Yes.
I just realized I have it next to me, but it's, yes.
That's my favorite of your blooded. Is the Flensing, isn't it?
Yeah, Flenser, yeah.
I love that model. You've done a really good job on that model. It looks really good, yeah. But yeah, I like that. I do like the spear and the short sword kind of look, and they've done it well. So yeah, I think I will be good if I'm less interested in the Inquisitor though, because it feels like I don't know. It feels like it wouldn't be a hard team to kit bash.
Yeah,
necessarily. But you'd have to get like Necromunda kits.
That's what I was gonna say, to get the look right of a lot, because they are very unique. They don't look like a guardsman, apart from the one that is a guardsman. But apart from that, they don't really. Yeah, they do very much look more, which I kind of dig. They have a very much more. I'm going to say real, I guess, hive world setting, don't they? They're not they don't look military, which is really cool.
Yeah. They do have that, more not civilian, but that kind of look. And they're annoyingly a little bit more expensive than, they feel like they're marked up a little bit, the Necromunda box sets sometimes. Like if you like a few bodies, it still feels like you're paying more than you would for like a guard, whatever it is. But yeah, I think I might be able to kit bash them, or because I think there is already that interesting servitor model out there that was for AdMech at some point. I don't know if he was part of Blackstone Fortress. I imagine a lot of people are on eBay now trying to get that servitor.
The Russ bot, is that the little Russ bot who's like that one, or the servitor? Which one are you talking about?
The servitor dude.
Oh, I
think gun arm.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy.
Not the little
typewriter. The Rust bot.
That's going to be tough. Oh, Rust bot. I thought you said Rust. No, Rust bot. Rust bot will be very difficult to find. Outside of this, there's some really unique models, which is kind of annoying for kit bashing, or great depending on how you feel. But that is a real unique model, and the. Don't want to get straight into Rhys's rules, but from what I understand it, because again, I'm coming into this semi-blind, but I've looked at some of the rules / had them appear in feeds and be like, oh, that's interesting. And his rules do seem like they seem to have, again, quite unique rules on them, like stuff to implement. I mean, I know it's APL based, and he kind of basically can always hold an objective point regardless of APL, or something towards that lines. And I was like, it's interesting. It feels like it's quite an inquisitorial thing to be like
mine.
yeah, basically, like essentially, it boils down to my objective.
It's mine. Well, all right. On that note, because we know you were away, we know I'm hilariously bad with rules. That's why I have my own rules segment. So why don't we play the intro and then let's just have a bit of a look at the teams and discuss some of the rules. Rhys's rules. This show needs more explosions. That's all I'm saying. We probably don't have enough.
All the explosions we have are the tech tips that you don't see.
Yeah.
At the very beginning. There's all like, oh God, and stuff going blank. Oh God.
It's all behind the scenes. So let's start. We're already having a bit of a chat. We've got the Inquisition team.
Yeah. Is that what they're called as well? They must have Inquisitorial Agent Kill Team.
The Inquisitorial Agent Kill Team is the official...
It's very specifically not an Inquisitor's Kill Team.
Yes.
It's the Inquisitorial Agent Kill Team. So it's not an Inquisitor. It's the Inquisitorial Agent.
Yes, exactly.
Here we go. See, there you go. Cool. Yeah, we've seen these before.
Yeah, so nothing too crazy. The one thing, the first thing of all the rules that popped up to me that was a bit like, ooh, was interesting, is that the leader, I think, on pure stats, seems like probably one of the weakest leaders in the game.
How many rules has he got?
The interrogator.
Let's go through it. Do you have his rules there open?
I've got his stat sheet here. Let me.
Rhys's rules.
Rhys's.
We're testing them, people.
No, that's the pistolet. No, that's the guns. I brought up 3 of the wrong ones.
Picture the dog.
There it is.
Picture the dog.
There it is. That's him there. That's the interrogator agent. So he's got 8 wounds, 5 up save. Everything else is pretty normal. 2 APL, 3 movement, defense dice 3. His gun's a little bit piddly. It's just an auto pistol, but it can shoot longer range. And then he's just got Russell Crowe fists in close combat. So he just
Russell Crowe fists.
He just throws some hams in close combat. And the chat makes a good point. Drone 4321. Obviously, he's nearly is a bit of a 2-1 punch because there is the flying tome as well, the little the skull that flies around, and they share an ability, which is the
Enunciation, sanctification rules.
Exactly right. Yes, so
they're quite cool,
which is really cool, but it's still only, and maybe it's because I'm not good at the game, hence why I'm a kill team casual. but circle distance does seem not that
the blast.
Yeah,
it's the danger zone. You never really want to be circled within each other. If there's anyone with blast on the team, it's weird. But then by that, no, like you could go, what do you call it, sanctification, and that blast is only getting 3 hits or 3 attacks on you. But still.
When you've got 8 wounds, or I think in the case of the skull, I think it's got 5
up save.
And a 5 up save.
This is the first time I'm checking this dude out. 2 APL, I guess that's to be expected.
Yes.
Defense 3. Okay, well, why am I saying defense 3? Like everyone doesn't have pretty much defense 3 apart from some Gellerpox bugs or whatever. But yeah, save 5 up, 8 wounds. You're not very survivable, but with that whole subtract 1, you are presumably getting 1 last attack die thrown at you.
Yes, and that's true. But it's just, yeah, I just feel I would have thought maybe even at 5 up, maybe it's an invul. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be. You know, just something. You know,
I'm assuming there's once per. Oh, you can swap the consecrated tome ability. It was just enunciation and sanctification.
Yeah, so basically you can swap between the skulls, but again, they've got to get within within triangle to do that. So again, it already I guess shows a little bit of what this team's about, which is there's a lot of good maneuvering of your operatives to maximize. Because the other one
pair that up with some big ass shooting and then get 5 attack die on a plasma cannon. Is going to hurt everything. That's going to kill a Gellerpox.
Because
Hulk, possibly.
Speaking of, if you go to the gun servitor, very interesting. 1 APL. 1.
Hitting on 5s as well.
Yes. So.
But if he's within 3, so he's going to be within 2 inches of your Inquisitorial Agent, so he can operate with +1 APL and get that whole denunciation thing or the other one. So he's going to be within him, but he's always going to be 11 wounds at 4 up.
Yeah, so a bit tougher.
I anticipated a 4+ save. So you're going to an 8. Blast. This is what I've heard about. I have heard about this.
This is the one rule you heard
about blast. Yeah, no, I heard about blast plasma, which I was like, what? Blast plasma? That seems, just fun. Not fun for your opponent.
No,
but fun.
I am sneakily a big fan of the multi-melter, which doesn't have the range. I think that's pretty huge. So immortal wounds 4, 6/3 damage.
Just seeing that.
Yeah, AP2.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, plasma with blast all day, but I think there could be some play with that, especially against elite teams. That multi-melter is just gonna.
Okay. I see elite teams. You want maybe the multi because every other team, it's better. I mean, a plasma cannon throwing 5 dice at 4 up if you're within 2 inches of your dude, giving you that little extra thing. So you roll 1 more attack die. You've got hitting on 4. So let's say you get maybe a mix between 3 or 4 hits out of those 5 dice. You should get maybe like 50% should hit, but you might be using a reroll, and maybe there's some other thing that gives you an extra something. But maybe between 2 to 4, if you got a reroll, that's still a lovely bit of damage. The fact that's going on all the targets that are within blast.
Yes. So yeah.
I mean, I guess they don't have a missile launcher, do they? But this is a much better missile. This is the best frag ever in the game.
I would take this over a missile launcher. I reckon. So
I guess that's why they don't have one.
So you definitely see there's a bit of play, again, where you're already starting to see the synergies between the skull, between the Inquisitor agent and the gun servitor. You're already starting to see a little bit of something going on, and how that, I guess, they see them working.
Is this? I've just realized this is the first plasma cannon, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
This is the difference between a cannon and a gun. Blast.
Yes.
And this is the difference between multi-melter and melter. Oh, this is cool. Obviously, heavy bolter we've seen before, which is why it's, I guess, these are rules we've seen before for the heavy bolter. Ceaseless and fusillade. Is that what they normally are? I mean, everyone forgets fusillade because it's rubbish, but ceaseless. I think they have been ceaseless.
No, I'm trying to think. Ceaseless is usually, I think, more like on the rotary cannon ones. Like I didn't think it was on the heavy bolters. They've always had P1.
P1's good, yeah.
I think ceaseless is a new addition. Oh, sorry, I've just been told by Emmanuel in the chat. I've been calling it incorrectly the skull or the tome. It's actually called a Facebook because it's a skull and a book. So it's Facebook. Emmanuel, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. It's the Facebook. I'm glad I self-corrected there. I only had to yell at me 3 times.
The Facebook is pretty cool though.
And then this is another one I wanted to show off also because it was one of the few that I could find the photo of their data sheet as well. The Pistolier Agent doesn't get much props for its name, not great. But the scoped plasma pistol I thought was worth highlighting here. So it can
this is a Sisters of Battle pistol with that whole unlimited range thing.
Exactly, minus having to spend the miracle dice to get it working. It's interesting too. All little abilities can ignore any or all modifiers to ballistic skills. So I guess being injured, which when you're a 7 wound model is gonna Overwatch.
Yeah.
And the pistol barrage as well. So 1 AP. Getting to make
both.
Yes, which is a bit of a classic for the Pistolier models. So I think this is another cool model, but again, the big thing you're seeing with all of the team, here's the I guess the true stat line is the 7 wounds and a 5-up save.
5-up save, yeah.
Which is for a team that's I know you obviously get the ancillary support, so you're adding in more operatives. But still, it's not. You will not feel strong. Placement and keeping those guys alive is going to be it's going to be a little bit of a battle at times, I think. And then you wonder when you do lose any or all of those models, like each. I feel like you'll really feel when you lose each of those operatives. If you lose Facebook, if you lose, your leader, you're really going to feel that because a lot of your synergies are gone then once you start to lose those key operatives.
Yeah. I mean, they got a couple of plasma in there, and one of those plasmas is unlimited range. Well, both of the plasmas can be unlimited range. So that's already kind of a leg up. But obviously then one's 11 wounds, but GA1.
Yes.
And I'm guessing I'm going to assume that the plasma pistolier lady, knife man, and then the other dude. Are there 3 inquisitorial agent models you can have, or are they all inquisitorial agents? Well, they all become inquisitorial. They all becoming once they join the team. They all are technically inquisitorial agents. Like that's their key. Okay, so basically, as long as the servitor's within 3 inches of any of the operatives on its team,
Yeah.
But not the ancillary. So not if you draft in scions, maybe not scions
including them. So basically, if you go do scions, they lose the scion keyword. That's gone. They are now inquisitorial, whatever their keyword, inquisitorial agents or whatever. So they don't get their team abilities or their team things, but it means all the strategies and all the abilities synergize with, I guess, whichever team you've drafted in, basically.
Nice. Okay, that's quite cool.
So,
yeah, I like that. And yeah.
And the other one that I think is cool is the Mystic Agent. Another.
Is that to do with the big eye?
That's to do with the big eye. Just in the blind guy with the big eye, just in case.
Man. I agree.
He's another, I guess, force multiplier and someone, again, that's going to be making your heavy weapons and stuff even more dangerous. So he's boosting and buffing everyone there. So here's someone that's
what he does.
Dare you? He's got 2 abilities. I'm going to see if I can.
Oh, you got it. Nice.
So let me. Wait. Don't. Don't stitch me up here. Okay, I've tried so hard. No, I don't think I've got exactly what I know.
Apparently, Drone 4321. This is probably something you were going to bring up, Rhys, I'm sure. As advised us, there is actually a piece of equipment that boosts saves. Whether or not it's going to be the classic breaches where they're all annoyingly 8 wounds, which is great because I always end up doing exactly 7 damage on a breacher. Perfect. And I'm always like, dead. And they're like, 1 extra wound on the entire lot. Or if it's like, but yeah, it seems like there's a piece of equipment that boosts saves. Or I wonder if it's going to be like 1 EP for a 4-up save, which would be meaningfully better, obviously.
Yeah, why not? Let me think. It's a refractor field for a 4+ inval is the piece of equipment. There you go. Look at me. I
was going to say. And there's also like people are already coming up with some synchrony, synergies here with the Mystic and a comms. Apparently, you can have the servitor with 4 APL. Didymus is saying Didymux, Didymux.
There's also an armored bodysuit, which is another piece of equipment they can take. So there are options.
Oh, is that the save?
Yes, that's the save. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Feels like there's a lot going on here already. I know the servitor boy, not the servitor boy, the guy with the scrolling thing.
Russbot
has a very interesting ability that I've not seen before, where he's just bang. If I'm on this objective, it is my objective, which seems crazy strong in writing. Obviously in practice it might be less strong, but crazy strong to be like, you can swing mission objectives real easily and just be like, I'm outnumbered on this objective, but if I can get there and be like, this is mine, it will be mine until he's moved.
And the other thing too, he can also, so here we go. Actually, I've got the irrefutable report is the name of the rule there, Russ. Welcome to Rhys's rules. You can select 1 objective marker, cost 1 APL, until this operative performs this action again. While this operative is within blue square of that objective marker, it dominates it. A friendly operative that dominates an objective marker always controls it, regardless of any other rules or the APL of enemy operatives within the required distance of it. If an enemy operative would also dominate that objective marker, control is determined as normal. That operative can only perform this.
About to dominate.
Can only perform this action once per battle and cannot perform while engagement range of enemy operatives.
He says quite rightly, bring out the GIMP.
Kudos to you, sir, and correct.
Bring out the GIMP. I just my image instantly goes to the guy with his hands on the guy's head, just going on the little rubber mask.
It's all yours. You can have this objective. I'm just gonna leave. So I think interesting team. I think I've already seen lots of different ideas too, obviously, about the ancillary support or the extra team you brought in. I've seen some people be big fans of the Sisters of Silence. A lot of people saying the breaches are the way to go. And our man Emmanuel, who is in the chat, he's saying, controversially, I might say, only because I think he's right, but people are overlooking it. But he's saying the Arbites. which everyone would say
the exaction squad.
That's crazy talk because
he's a crazy guy.
Because no one wants to play that team, but apparently he reckons there's some really good synergies between those operatives and what they can bring in terms of the shield guys and playing that big board. So I actually can't wait to see a lot of people actually take this team to some tournaments and to some things and see what is the best thing. This is probably the first list building team or team that's got genuine options we've seen.
I think that's what when I first saw them be announced, and we had that. I guess the content of the box were revealed, and they were like, "You're going to have ancillary support, and it's going to be seven guys, your Inquisitorial squad, and 5 other units." And I was just like, I loved the idea immediately. I think part of me would have liked, and I know it's not great, part of me, I think when they were saying Inquisitorial kill team, I think how they've done that idea of drafting in, it's so thematic.
Yeah.
And like in my head when I was picturing it, I was like an Inquisitor, because that's what, when I was thinking about it in my head, I was like an Inquisitor, 2 to 4 of his personal retinue. And then I would love to see them be like drafting in local militia.
Yeah.
I think they've definitely captured that element of, you want an Inquisitorial kill team that's thematic and narrative. In my mind, you are the Inquisitor as the person playing the game. You direct them what to do. Like it's
Puppet Master.
Like, so I'm absolutely cool with them not having an Inquisitor. And just being like, you, like, in a weird sense, as the general, you are the Inquisitor, but you've sent them on this mission. You've got a small group that they've also drafted in, and you can just change it. You can meta play with the list and be like, okay, I'm gonna go, that cheese chaser Emmanuel. I mean,
classic. Picking
the strongest teams with his exaction squad. Everyone knows they're broken, a man, and now he's gonna try and use them to cheese himself some tournament wins. But like, you can be like, oh, these guys have gone to a prison world. You know what I mean? Like, if you're playing the thematic, you'd be like, they're going, this is my Inquisitorial speed, and as part of their like, they're going on this like year-long campaign on this prison world, so they're going to bring some RBs with them, and that is how they're always going to play. But if I ever want to change it in future, they've changed worlds, and now they've drafted in some scions. I don't know, I think they've done a real good job, and I think maybe there's not a lot of credit for that, or maybe there is. Again, I've been out of the loop, but I love the fact that you can. Yeah, I was going to say I've been away, but I love the fact that you can. They've given us a way to really customize the narrative feel, but also with that comes obviously innately you've got a whole bunch of different units to like sub in. Which will change the play style completely. Presumably, I don't know exactly what. Again, I don't really check the rules, but I don't know exactly.
That's why it's not called Russ's rules, mate. That's why it's not called Russ's rules.
Yeah. I will defer to you. Obviously, you can tell me all about it. But I do like that they have given this narrative theme to the list with because they could have just done a 10-man team, and you can't change that team.
Yes, and everyone's just a blah blah. Yeah, and we probably
everyone's a special.
I think we probably would have been all right with it. Yeah, because that's what we're used to. If they just go,
that's what you used to.
That's the team, especially with this edition of Kill Team. It's usually you might have 1 or 2 operatives that are swinging a bit. That you might.
Yeah, if I'm playing into the dark, I'm not going to take the sniper. I'll take the guy with the shield, but I'm not. So that's sort of that. But I really like that they have got different options.
The chat's actually also mentioning too the fact that you can just take the agents. You don't have to take the extras.
You will need a kit bash and stuff, but
but that's an option.
I mean, it's such a cool. You can be like, this is at the end where he's got a whole bunch of trusted allies. Like in my mind, that's it. This is your trusted retinue, 12 individual agents that or 7, and you've got a bunch. Yeah, but I do like that.
So I think you're right.
It is annoying.
This is the thing that
you have to buy 2 box sets.
When I looked at the team rules, I was like, this team's special ability was you've got 30 roster spots. I probably thought, especially for myself, I was like, I don't know if I care about that, because a lot of the time when I'm just playing with mates, you don't care.
Level with me. When is the last time you drew up a roster? Or the first time? Level with me, Rhys. When's the last time you made a roster?
Well, funny you should say that, and we'll move on quickly though. Exactly.
I don't do them either, and I go to tournaments. And again, that's stupid, but I only bring what I'm going to use, which is stupid. I should bring a roster, but you don't need to.
Well, that's a lot of teams you don't have to. A lot of the teams do. You can build a pretty solid take all comers list. As you said, there's usually only one or two operatives that are swing operatives that might be, yep, it's a horde team. I'm going to take this thing that shoots a bit more, or I'm going to drop the sniper, whatever. But even if you end up just having to take the operative, it's not the end. It doesn't change your team dramatically. It doesn't mean, they play completely different now. We as casuals are too casual.
It's not a casual for rosters. It's not the way. This is the reverse Mandalorian, where it's like, this isn't the way. It's not how it's done. I bring only the models that I've painted in that specific theme. I've actually recently painted up a butcher, so that if I go into the dark with my Nurgle legionaries, I can sub out someone and have the butcher, because I do now admit that he's good. Into the dark. I do. Yes. I like him into the dark. But
in terms of team abilities, I'm still a bit like, for me, it's a bit meh, but I can understand if you rock up to a tournament and you've got Kassakin, Breaches, Abides, Exaction Squad, whatever it is, like you literally can.
You just mean Beastman, and someone's running Kassakin. That's what a tournament's going to look like now, though, right?
I meant to say, sorry, after the next data slate drops and they're going to get nerfed. And these guys, that's what we'll be seeing, is that people will be, when everyone's retired, they're Beastmen. After a few good wins, though.
Obviously. Well, not everyone. The thing is, though, everyone's going to, like, part of me thinks, I wonder if everyone takes Beastmen, and then in a weird way, their win rate gets nerfed because more people lose than win.
Because everyone's taken them. Yeah,
everyone's taken them, so they'll win every tournament, but they'll also take the last two spots. And I don't know if it'll just average out and they'll just literally have like a 50%, and then they'll be like, oh, they're fine. That's fine. 50% is fine. They're not broken. and then someone will stop taking them, then they'll start to win, and so it might be a couple of years down the line. Who knows?
Well,
I heard that Kassakin might be a good counter to them, with their elite points being able to guarantee crit shooting. I have heard that this new meta, Ryan from the aggressive northern meta might be shaping the meta with his aggressive northern meta Kassakin. Could happen.
I found it really interesting. I was watching just the GW little battle report that they did, showing off the box set of the Beastmen versus the Votann, and they actually, because they have the grudge tokens and that, they do a great job of always being able to guarantee crits or turning a normal into a crit. So basically, that's what the grudge tokens do. So basically, they'd shoot them. And then even if they got charged or they charge, they could nearly always guarantee one crit. So therefore, the frenzy didn't seem as effective. But of course, that's the team that's in the box set. So of course, they're probably pretty finely tuned against each other. Whereas most
balance the boxes, don't they?
Yeah. Whereas most other teams don't necessarily always have that access, especially in close combat, to guarantee a crit. It's for a lot of other teams, that's not always going to happen, and a lot of them won't survive taking 2 hits to get their 2 regulars through as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm oddly excited to play against and with the Beastmen still. Like it's not a team. I don't know why combat. I get more annoyed. Not annoyed, but I get more frustrated if I get shot off the board. Like I think I'd much prefer to get slaughtered in melee by beastmen that ultimately end up dying themselves than have like a firewall of like cow just shoot me off the board from halfway across the board. Like I feel like even though
no honor in it, is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I feel like maybe it's the aggressive northern meta, but I feel like if a team is going to wipe me out and then be left with like one unit themselves, I'm somehow okay with that. Like you can table me if it means your army as well. I think I'm all right with that. I feel like I'm okay. And I know the problem is I like to run blooded and they're a melee team. So I'm not too sure how, but they do have some shooting. So part of me is like, ooh, I wonder, like, I will get destroyed, but I'm intrigued. I'm still intrigued by the battle. I do have some mechanic with the blooded tokens or the Gaze of the Gods to at least force a couple of crits. And with like access to frag, like I could take a few of them down before I have to run in and crit them in combat. So I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm really looking forward to playing against them, and I know I will be. There's a tournament coming. Oh, I should probably plug this.
Oh, please do.
A challenge. A challenge is being issued.
The glove
from me to you.
Slap them.
Yeah. I'm issuing a challenge. You'd obviously beat me, but I'm going to a tournament in Element Games in Stockport in Manchester. The amazing D's Nuts. That's right, Dan D's Nuts and Ben.
The amazing,
the amazing named. They're running a tournament in Stockport Element Games on the 17th of June. So challenge thrown, come along. Let's see off season 2, because we don't know if season 3 is going to be around the corner too. So let's have a real good showing for a nice potentially end of season 2. Probably not, but I don't know how close we are. But anyway, there's a tournament coming up.
But you digress.
I digress. A plugging is in. So look on BCP for King in the North is what it's called, happening in Manchester. 17th of June tournament. I shall be going there to obviously take the crown. Obviously. I got no chance, but we'll see how it goes. Primaris Painter is away in the chat. He's going to get some sleek. Good luck with Legions of Russ, he says.
Ooh, good luck to us.
But you've lost a big hitter, chat. I'm not going to lie. Rhys versus the people, and you've lost a big hitter in Ali.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen to see them in action firsthand, because I always feel like the first time I play a team, I'm always like their rules seem a little bit like Sisters have got a lot of stuff going on. I don't feel like Beastmen have got a load of stuff going, and each individual mini seems to have a lot of their own rules that generally, but you know what it's going to be. It's going to be melee focused. Like you've got that dude with the
kill better.
No eyes, claws. If he hits you after you've not readied, he does a crit and then immediately can strike with a normal. So he's doing like 10 damage on a non-ready mini, which can be horrible. But that only means he's going to kill. Like if I'm playing blooded, I mean, he's going to kill whatever he hit anyway. That's not a big. But against elites, obviously, that's a bit of a.
They're just more dead when it's a 7-wound model. It's just more dead.
Yeah, it's just the extra ablative wounds that you'll never see. They're just gone, minus.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. That's good. And I think that's the thing. The best thing, we can talk about it as much as we want. We can talk about who might be good, until they hit the table and we actually see them in action. And also, I do like that people are coming in now. There's going to be those taking the Beastmen, but everyone is putting all their brain power in how to beat them. So that's also will have a big ramifications for the game too, of teams tailoring a little bit or actually building a roster, believe it or not.
But I think in a weird way, it's good. Like it'll make me and it'll make you, not you, obviously nothing can help you, but it'll make you a better player in a weird way. Like we've never it sounds like I'm hamming this up. We've never faced a threat like this before, but like we've never faced a melee team. Yeah, exactly. Like we've never faced a melee team that's this, relentless, that doesn't die. And I think it's a cool, like almost thematic test of a kill team to be like, okay, well, how am I as either a player or using this army, or like, you know, you can change list, do a Kazakin because you know they've got the tools, but you'll have to use them better in matches when it's not.
Exactly right. That's the catch, isn't it?
I love that. That's it. There's going to be like and you just, it's like Galapox. It's a new Galapox. How are you going to deal with this new threat? And it'll ultimately make your team, you might lose a couple of times before you get it. Like there's a few times where you play the same team a few times and you're like, right, I don't get it. Now, when I'm playing Novitiates, I'm like, kill the Flamers. Kill the Flamers.
Straight away.
Kill that mother with the cup that generates all the faith points. My God. And be aware of long-range pistols. You know what I mean? There's a few things that you kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to kill those flamers because those flamers are bolters with hitting on 2s and it's 5 shots and that is ridiculous. Yes. So kill the flamers, kill the lady who's going to generate all those faith points. Like it takes you a couple of games to realize this. And it's just annoying. And you get caught in with the traps of like, they've got like the plasma pistol there, and it's so like, no, you just need to focus on the things you know you need to focus. And that'll just be something that happens with the Beastmen. And people will be like, right, okay, you don't move forward first turn. You let them come to you and maybe they score the mission objectives the first turn. It's fine. As soon as they frenzy, they can't score any more objectives. So you can lose the objectives by keeping it. Like, I don't know what it is, obviously, but there might be something like that. So I'm keen. I'm very keen for them to shape the meta.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I think I mentioned it a couple of episodes back. It was starting to feel like each time the teams came out that it was you had a medic and you had a leader and you had some gunners.
Yeah,
and it was
very formulaic.
Were feeling like every team, the models look different, but fundamentally they were all the same type of operative. I'm really happy with the Chaos team. I think is a great example. The Galloppox and these guys of teams now that have unique and interesting ways to play the game that are very, very different to everyone else. And I think that's only a good thing. Speaking of which, the Chaos team, let's take a look. That's not the slide I wanted. That's one of them. That's the God.
Derailed us. Derailed us so soon.
All my pictures are, the orders. Oh God. Oh, this is why I can't have a nice thing. There we go.
It's the denizens of Mordor.
Yes, exactly. The mouth of Sauron at the front there. A few of the Nazgul.
I was going to say it is nuts how blatantly these guys feel ripped off, but then they do own the rights to the minis, don't they? So
also true.
They can rip them off. Like, it's fine. Add a couple of tentacles. This is just the Nazgul.
That's my favorite model in the commune, though. Dark Commune is the Psyker with his like head removed, like it's kind of just pulled forward and is floating in front of his body. I think that's very cool. So, like that is a very grim dark, and his candles floating around his head. I think that's one of the coolest models. But these guys,
as massively keen on the actual mini cultists as much. I feel like cultists have been done better now. Like I think the Jackal's base kit is just a little bit better for me. Mm-hmm. I love that Jackal's base kit is amazing. Like I know you've done it as well, man. I like kit bash mine all to be blooded, and it's just so fun. They're such good base models that I kind of feel like maybe but these are cool. I mean, they're obviously better than the original cultists. Yes,
I used a few of the original cultists mixed in with the Jackals, and now I'm kind of regretting it a little bit. Like I just feel when you compare the two kits, they're chalk and cheese. So I know that I'm about to get this kit, and they do look like they might fit in better. So I don't know. Maybe I'll.
They look
do
like
a
nice mix.
Yeah,
nice mix between
I
them.
think it's the missing shirts. I did reference that in my chat to you guys, saying that all the Jackals have no shirts on, and the old cultists all and wearing shirts. I'm like, we can't have that. We need nipples in the breeze. It's the only way.
You got to be free.
You got to be free.
They got to be free. Free ball in it. Free nipple in it. Free the nipple. That's the Chaos's big thing, especially Slanesh.
The only thing all 4 Chaos gods agree on: free the nipple.
Yeah, free the. You know what? I don't think you're wrong. I think you're pretty damn right there.
Write that down, people.
They found common ground. This is crazy. You might have just cured chaos in the 41st millennium. And it revolves around nipples. Who knew?
Oh, look at me. Just changing the 41st
Changing
millennium.
lives up in here. Yeah. So, in the grim dark, there's now peace and nipples. But
So a horde team, that's fundamentally what these guys are. They're 15 models. 15.
I was going to say, do you know how many? That's nuts. 15. But like, so is it basically you run, and again, I feel bad. I know you carry the podcast, but I'm going to ask you to bear the load a little bit more here while I actually ask you live what the hell's going on. So 15. So is it basically you run all of the commune, the 5 commune, and then 10 cultists?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I like that.
And so it really is like that idea that it is just a big bunch of mad cultists. So no special weapons, just, close combat guys and all your cultists. Yep. That as you see them there, that is them. Is it. That's them.
So there's no plasma, but I'm guessing when they mutate, they get the equivalent plasma, but in melee.
Yes.
They must get some pretty impressive melee.
Well,
and wounds.
Yes, I think the biggest strength that they do, they get. So, like, there's 3 ways for them to mutate. So, in the command phase of each turn, you can mutate.
They go up. They get the stanky leg. I've seen that one. Like you're up, and they get like the weird stanky leg kind of arm thing or something, and then they go up one step further, which is Elephant Man on a bad day. Where they've got like gacha. But that's it, isn't it? It's 2.
Well, no, it's only the 2 mutations, but depending on the number of turning point is the number of models that can mutate. So in turning point 1, you can mutate 1. In turning point 2, you can mutate 2, et cetera, et cetera. So as the game goes on longer, true, you're probably going to have less and less of them alive, but you get What happened there?
Carry on. I came in with a question and I thought I'll let you finish, and then you respectfully paused to let me ask my question.
I did,
and then I just let you go. Carry on, mate. I'm listening. I'm digesting.
So basically, so each turning point. Then the only other ways that models can mutate, if they go into close combat, they fight and they think that if they score a hit and they survive, they can mutate. And
I have a question.
You may. I knew it was coming.
It's coming. So they're 7 wounds, I'm guessing, as a base cultists. Mm-hmm. When they transform, their wound profile goes up?
Yes. The mutant. That was what the point I was going to. Where's our mutie boys? So they still have 7 wounds, but they heal.
Oh. Yes.
So, like, if say the guy charges in,
lose a wound. Okay.
When they charge in, if it's just a cultist, he fights in combat. He survives with 1 wound left, but he gets to mutate. He goes back to 7 wounds.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So they don't. Each time they mutate,
and then they get 5 up, feel no pain.
Exactly right.
And then they're a bolter. So then they're a relentless rending bolter in combat, which is pretty good. Hitting on 4s, not great. But relentless means you're probably going to get 3 to 4 hits.
And with a rending as well on it as well.
Yeah. So you're likely going to do 8, 11 damage. Maybe between realistically 11 damage is probably what you're going to do if you're going to get, on average, re-rolling, going to get 2 crits and a hit, maybe 2 crits. It's a pretty decent pump out even against elites, but you won't live to do
that's the
3
catch.
hits.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to do 2 hits. Basically, if you attack first, obviously. But the thing is, with, and again, why, annoyingly, and I know they explain it, but unnatural regeneration, it's no different to revoltingly resilient.
Feel no pain.
Resilient. Yeah, it's a feel no pain, and it's needlessly you don't need to rename it every time. We're not reinventing the wheel. Just call it what it is. It's a feel no pain. It's 5-0 feel no pain. Anyway. But they get that, so they might live to do 5 hits because it feels like those feel no pains are ridiculously swingy.
Always,
like you roll enough. I think realistically, you're going to roll enough on average to maybe survive to do 3 hits. Those 7 wounds are actually going to end up being 10 to 11 wounds. So you'll like live like maybe a 2 4s and a 3. You'll live an average melee. So that's pretty good. And I'm guessing when they go up again, they go to maybe 14 wounds. Is that fair, or is it still 7?
I think
I know I'm jumping ahead of your rules here.
Yeah, what you fucking who are you?
Is it still 7?
I can't remember. I've got to check now.
Because I'm guessing you can probably only ever get to maybe 2 of these levels. Somehow, like the restrictions
13
will be
wounds.
so
13 wounds.
Lovely.
Plus 1 attack and damage. And the other thing also, if I did forget to mention, is
comments. Thank you, Drone.
The first time you mutate the first model, they get like an extra ability which the team takes for the
Ooh.
So they've got a mutation basically. So every operative on the team,
like a legion trait that everyone then gets.
Yes, exactly right. So the cursed gifts. So
I'm
they
really
can
making you work for this segment. I'm sorry.
So each time the mutants, the first time you go to being a mutant, or the first time someone goes to being a torment, all the later versions of that also get this ability.
Okay, so all the subsequent mutants or torments then get
X. So
okay.
things like,
can you hit us up with? Can you pick?
Yeah.
Sorry, more questions. I'm genuinely intrigued because this is the team that I'm most interested. Even though I love the idea of the Inquisitorial Agents team, this is the team that I most want to actually play.
I can't.
I do think this might be something I will cover on the old channel as well. Like we might try. There's a group of guys that might want to go through the campaign using these teams, so I might try and convince them to do it.
Would they consider doing the full narrative?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm hoping to try and I've got the latest game. We don't do this segment anymore. We talk about what we've been doing because there's so much news today. So I've filmed the most recent, the next battle report for the narrative campaign. So the battle report's all done. I just need to do the scene. And then I kind of want to finish that campaign so that I can get onto this new stuff. But I think at some point they'll probably have to go hand in hand, just because I don't think I'll get the first campaign finished before this stuff is out and ready to go. And it'll probably be a different type of campaign. It'll probably include more of the actual campaign rules, because it'll be people playing it. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see if they fancy doing it. This is probably the first they've heard about me talking about potentially wanting to film it. They don't know. I've not asked them yet. So I think one of the guys was like, "Oh, it'd be cool to do," and I was like, "Yeah, do you think that the guys would fancy it?" And I was like, maybe. It's like, maybe I'll bring it up, or maybe I'll just talk about it live on the podcast, and they'll find out what I'm thinking.
Because obviously, fans of the show,
they might. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. They'll either know or they won't know. But yeah,
you do get to choose. Cool. Russ is the answer.
Ooh, that's lovely.
And there's
not lovely. It's probably disgusting, but
6 to choose from.
6.
Yeah. So
hang on a sec. Follow-up question.
Yes. God, stop it.
You are working for this, mate, and I appreciate it. I love you, buddy. You're doing a real good job. So the first time you mutate to the first level you mutated, you pick one, and then the first time you mutate to a torment, you then pick one, or is it just
exactly
that is
right?
It. So you get 2.
Yes,
love it. I only got that because you explained it so well. Cool.
You're
Go through what they are.
Merry Christmas.
I'd love to know. Merry
Christmas, we've got winged. Which is allowing you to ignore movement characteristic penalties, first 2 inches of climbs, etc. So not quite.
That's nice.
Yeah, not quite.
I quite like that. That's the AdMech thing where they ignore the first 2 inches of terrain.
Yeah, that
which
enhanced
you always forget about. But so many games where you're playing in tournaments, you have to end up charging past. Like someone will set up a barricade and block it. That ends up being so clutch, being able to ignore those 2 inches, so you're not just going on a 3-inch charge, because you measure and then you're like, I can't get past that bit of terrain, I've got to clamber over it. But ignoring that first one is actually massive. I like that. Okay,
you've got fleet, which is adding 1 inch to the movement characteristic, so it might not be as good as wing depending on the terrain, depending on where you're playing.
Yeah, maybe Into the Dark, that'd be better.
Chitness.
Less terrain. Although you are going
chitinous,
over barricades.
How do you say it? Chitinous? Chitness?
Yeah, like a chit. Oh, like chit. It's spelled chitin, but it's chitin.
It's chitin, yeah. Chitinous that
armor
ups your save from a 5 takes it from a 5 to a 4 up, which is actually really good. So yeah, I think that one that's pretty powerful. Horned. Allows you to smack. What's that? Some mortal wounds
on charging.
Yeah. So
that's a torment. Oh no, it won't be just a torment. Oh, that's quite good as well.
Sinewed is a weapon skill which basically lets you ignore modifiers, and your weapons gain brutal. And then barbed is reap. So if you're
not sure, brutal is as good. I'm not sure brutal is a great rule.
I'm not a huge fan of
it can be
either.
good. Yeah, I mean, Reap sometimes didn't they change Reap so that it does impact the target now as well? I'm sure when it first came out, there's some hoo-ha that it didn't impact the target, but now it impacts the target and other targets.
It used to not work like Splash, which was that it would give the target the extra, and I think Reap now works in that same way.
Actually, Brutal's not terrible. Yeah, they're right, the Splash. Brutal's not terrible. It just means that there's less options for your opponent, so they will always have to strike. So it does mean you can calculate it. It just feels like in practice, unless you're using that on a torment, like a mutant's not going to like 2 hits and you're dead anyway. And if you get shot before you charge in, they're probably not going to be parrying anyway. Correct. But I guess if someone's like it might be a good counter to someone that has shields that could parry too, and might be able to shut down your attacks. But you can't do that unless you get a crit. And a crit, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
just find Brutal sometimes doesn't work.
I think there's play there that at least the 6, I think probably 4 of them are all worth exploring or have uses depending on your different opponents, which is good because we want to, you kind of always want to make it that sometimes rules come out and they go, you can choose any of these 6, and then you go, I'm always going to go X. So at least with these, there's some play, or at least some of the others are a bit more interesting that you might actually give a go.
I might go for the 2 movement-based ones. Like the 4-up save might be nice, but you know what? If your aim is to get into combat, and it will be
the movement.
If you're playing it well, you don't need to be shot at. You can just be like plus 1 inch to all movement. Was it plus 1 inch?
Yes. Yep.
Plus 1 inch,
triangle for the layman's out there.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So plus triangle, and then ignore the first 2 inches of movement. I mean, that could be.
I think that sounds like one of the best.
Get you in combat a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I haven't sat down and actually digressed, looked at them. The 4-up save, depending on the matchup. And again, that's the thing. You can do it on the fly, can't you?
Well, you choose as it happens.
You just be like,
we're doing it live.
We're doing it live. I like that. Yeah. I really like that's really nice to be like, that again feels like semi list building on the fly.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It feels like it. Yeah. Boom.
So
we're now faster.
I think it's I think there's a really cool way to play it, and that's not that's just one part of the team, because of course then you've got the other operatives like the demagogue who's your leader. You've got, I guess,
I've not even thought about those guys.
Doesn't mean
the Nazgul.
You kind of forget about them because it's all about the mutating and all that. But these are actually, they're 5 other very interesting operatives as well, and they all do
big old sword dudes.
Big old sword dudes. The big old sword dudes. I think here we go. I can bring them up live.
Ooh, 8. The cult demagogue.
Yep, there you go. 8. And
he's the leader, effectively? Yes.
Yes, okay. And this is the Blessed Blades. This is the sword dude. So basically, lethal 5-up big power swords. They stop enemy operatives from falling back. But the big one, if they're within pentagon of each other, they can activate one after the other. They can basically become GA2.
Ooh.
Which is a pretty big 1-2 punch when you look at what they're dealing out in close combat. Yeah.
That's good. Oh. Sorry, that's because you're not even within the danger zone of blast.
Yeah.
You can be within pentagram, hex, whatever it is. Yeah, you're within a pentagram of them. That's nice. GA2.
Yeah. So
you might need it 4-up, and 4-up, so you're only going to maybe hitting twice. So maybe you're doing 8 to 10 damage with lethal 5, closer to 10. Let's be fair, with the lethal 5, closer to 10 damage. So you can kill, and then arguably you're dead in combat. Like, that's the problem. Against elites, you're sacrificing 2 of these, but you've got 2 of them.
That's it. And
unless you're shooting first, but you don't have a lot of shooting, that's the problem. Pistols in combat.
You 100%. The shooting is laughable.
It's worth it. It's totally worth it to get rid of a 5th of your opponent's team by sacrificing one of these dudes and the other one is full health. I feel that's like an alpha strikey move when you can get that off.
Exactly. But even also think about them charging 6 damage on a crit into, think about if they were into like a vet guard or just like baseline.
Oh, you're just instantly killing anyone who's not. You're walking through. So a good counter to elites, like you said, you'd sacrifice one, let's say 1.5 of these to take down. I was going to say really because big models. If you get 2 crits, you will be killing on 6 damage. You will be killing a standard Marine. They're all 12 wounds now, apart from the leader's 13. So you would kill a legionary with 2 crits if you could get it. And lethal 5's a pretty reliable way that you could get. I mean, you get a bit lucky, and you're going to take unless you charge the wrong model, but you won't. You'll charge the plasma gun maybe, and take with their what you call a demonic blade, malefic blade. You're going to take maybe max 5 damage back with a crit, but you've killed him and you've still got 3 damage, enough to charge in and do another 6 damage, and then your other dude sweeps in. That's lovely. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Also, Drone4321 in the chat made a great point. Also, you can do their actions in any order. That's actually the thing that makes you more powerful. Sorry, thank you. Thank you to the chat there. Thanks, Drone. But that's
so
what
you
makes
charge in
and then charge in. So you've got support.
3 up.
Yeah, and you've got support.
And then fight again.
So
that is insane.
Spicy.
Maybe it's not insane because it's still a 3 up, but that almost that really makes the fact that you could kill an elite a lot more comfortably and still live. That's lovely.
Yeah. So I think that's for me, they're my sneaky favorites of this team. Like for all
the iron fist and the velvet glove.
Yes,
take it off, slap, bang.
So for all the talk of the mutants, like I think that's what will happen, and that's maybe a little bit of the point. The first time you play that,
torment, and just be like, focus on me, and then your 2 dudes with swords are just beheading.
Yeah. So
the more I hear about this team, and literally I'm hearing about this team more now.
It's happening live.
I love them even more. Yeah, it's happening live. I do love that idea that they both charge in and they can just take out elite units.
And that's
it feels like this again will be the part, like someone playing this team will have to figure this out and be like, are the torments more worthy of attention than these 2 dudes? Do I need to start my game, kill one of the blessed blades immediately to stop this shenanigans, or do I need to focus on the cultists? Because that's going to be the interesting thing.
I said it's I'd say the more this is the team. I think I got caught up very much with the Inquisitor thing. I'm like, that's so cool, and I saw this team and I was like, oh look, it's got a cool kind of thing. And so the mutating thing's cool, but the more I've looked at this team, the cooler it is. The only probably other thing to keep in mind, as we talked about before about the shooting, they've only got pistols. So they're pretty much, this team has nothing offensive over Pentagon, I think. I think they maybe got 1 psychic power maybe, or 1 ability that can go beyond Pentagon. So that's the thing to keep in mind though. It does let your opponents be very aggressive because they don't have to worry about your shooting. Like they can position how they want because you're
they're
going to
start turn 1 all on engage.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna face a lot of. We might be seeing with what you call it. Well, no, I was going to say we might be seeing the rise of Pathfinders again, but not with Beastmen as they currently are until they get buffed, and then like crits in what you call it. Crits in shooting can also get rid of them if that if that is something happens. But yeah.
So
that's nice.
Yeah. So the last model, the Cold Demagogue, just having a look at there, obviously. Yeah. So he's obviously a buffing character again too. So
hold on. Hold the phone. Incite urgency. One operative within Pentagon can immediately perform a free dash or charge.
Yes.
Sorry, hang on. I stopped the phone.
You read the rule?
Pick it back up again. I hadn't fully read it, and now it says 3 inches, but still. That's cool.
I still think it's pretty good.
Nuts.
Because your opponent might be like, you didn't make that charge. Why did you put that guy just there? And then the next activation you go, yoink. There is also a way to double it up. I think, I can't remember, someone else, I think can also give a free, induce slaughter, but just below there is a free fight action. So you can use those together as well.
Oh, you can charge and fight. You can be like, you charge.
And then fight. Free and free.
Because they've given them all 3 different unique actions.
Yes.
So you can perform them both. If this was like you can do orders and these were 3 orders, you can still only do 1, but it's not. It's 3 unique actions. You charge, you fight. I think this is almost better, and again, just off the top of my head.
Off the dome.
Where you could have someone, because it doesn't say readied or non-readied models.
No, it is.
But it just says free or charge. So I wonder I assume you'd still be bound by the fact that if that person had charged, you couldn't then get them to charge again. But you could have someone who's moved, and then you could get someone to charge in to tie up someone who hadn't yet shot, for example. And then they have to choose whether to disengage or not. But you've had to get them pretty close already. But yeah, you could move and dash someone forward to get them real close for an early charge. And then this person arguably can't then make them fight, does have to move to get within pent and then say charge 3 inches. But then you're not fighting because he's already used a movement to dash, to move forward to get within range. But it's such a nice models with this kind of utility. I find when I'm playing in them, I just love it. Like the Blooded, the Enforcer.
Yes.
For me, he's just got so much utility in the game. He can move and fight in combat because he's got a power fist. He can shoot because he's got a bolt pistol. It's got range, but it's a 3-4 damage profile. It's not nothing. But the fact that he can be like, you shoot again or you dash.
Yeah.
Like a movement shenanigan and or a shooting shenanigan is just the utility that you can use these models for. And this is just another one of these guys, but he seems better to be like, it doesn't say readied or unreadied model. So you could make a non-ready model effectively 2 APL or 3 APL because you make him charge 3 inches. Again, it's bound a little bit, but it has to be because if this was a full charge, it would be broken.
Oh, of course.
Someone getting just a free.
It would be fury based.
It would be insanely good. Yeah, like it would be insanely good, and they have to be workable outside a narrative. But that would be insanely good if it was just a free. So you have to at least push them forward a little bit. But at the start of turn 2, start of turn 3, getting this guy active and saying, charge, you charge now, to start the game already in combat. Ooh.
And
lovely.
So Lapscallion in the chat has just actually said, and Russ, pick the phone up and then put it down because he's saying that you can actually do the double charge, double fight because he's saying the limit is only during your activation. So you can charge, fight, and kill a guardsman, then free charge and fight again.
Are you, Lapscallion? Are you joking? I'm going to hang up the phone, but this is amazing. I'll speak to you soon. He's our brother. That's good, but that is amazing. Like that again, hearing from the first time, but I guess, if the rules specifically say within this activation, you can only do, because obviously you can dash pre-game and then
still, because it's out of the cycle. Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you could charge. Oof. Charge, fight, kill that person, charge again into someone else.
The thing to keep in mind as well, which is not as big a deal, but obviously as you mutate more people, though, they do lose the ability, they don't lose it, but the ability to do mission actions and things like that.
Yeah.
Start to cost
that's more than fair.
So, 100%. So it is that thing, I guess, finding the balance of having the right amount of models who are still cultists to hold objectives, do mission actions, but also keeping enough that are going to be doing the fighting. But I'm more excited after today because we've got each other excited about it. That's great. But after reading all the rules and spending a bit more time looking at it, I'm more excited about this team. I think this is they play. It's going to be again a team that plays like no other team, and I really like that.
Yeah,
they're very much a unique.
It's going to
team.
be. I think it'll be harder to field than the Beastmen initially. Because it feels like the Beastmen might be a little bit more like Nurgle were in the beginning, which is quite a forgiving team because you get off a little bit scot-free in that you die, but you don't die yet. I think this team, again, at the surface, looks like it has some really cool, just utility moves that you can do, different ways you can play them because you've got it almost feels like 2 different teams. You've got the cultists that you're going to just be racing forward, and you're just going to be distraction. These guys are only good in combat, really. They got little rubbish auto pistols. They're going to fight you. Their entire aim is to progress through the pantheon of chaos. Yeah. So they're going to, they could fight, live, And that's their only objective, to live in a combat so that they can then... So you're basically going to get into combat and be like, parry, 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 parry. I am now big and scary. Yes. Now I will fight. Maybe parry, 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 parry. Now I'm super big and scary, and I will fight and stay in fighting. And it feels like that's your ability to them. And then your other people are going to be like slowly stalking forward, getting rid of specific models, like that twin activation, the Dark Commune being like both charge, fight. Guy jumps up and says charge again, and then the next turn the guy who didn't charge then charge in, fights with the thingy, and then the other guy can then charge, and just like piggyback charging. Again, your opponent's going to shut that down, like obviously as much as they can. But the fact that you've got that as an option, like a strategy to be like, oh, it just seems. And I was always excited about the Chaos team just because I love the Chaos at the moment. But yeah, no, now that I've read some of the rules. In the world's greatest twin to try time zones ruled segment going, now that I've heard the rules firsthand live, I'm even more excited about. And you know what? I think I'm comfortable in saying that the Ashes of Faith might be the best box set for Kill Team, not to start Kill Team. It's not the best starter set.
It would be tough teams to start with.
Yes, you could, but it doesn't come with terrain, so it's not a good starter set. But it might be the best set in terms of, and again, I struggle to say value for money because obviously they cost 50p to make, and we're paying £7 each a model for them, but. We don't know that. Like we don't we can kid ourselves that it's a good deal. Like it's if you were going to buy everything in that box set, which the thing is for me, it's the perfect box set because I wanted everything. I wanted Sisters of Silence, maybe not Exaction Squad, but it doesn't come with them, so I'm okay. It becomes a Scion. You know what I mean? It comes with all things that I wanted more of, and this Inquisitorial team, and I already wanted the Cultists. Yeah. So for me, I think and it comes with narrative rules, which I just love. So for me, I'm comfortable saying, for me at least, but it would be a better tagline to be like the best set ever. So I'm going to say it's the best Kill Team box set ever.
That's the name of today's episode.
Don't agree with me.
The best
Kill Team box set anyway. And you know what? If you don't agree with me and you live in the UK or the Northwest and you want to tell me that I'm a shill and to shut up, June 17th, I will be in Stockport at Element Games playing a Kill Team tournament, so you can come and tell me in person that I'm a shill.
If you want to shank Russ live in person, please don't, because we need him for the show. He's a great guest of the show. But if you want to verbally abuse, yes, you can.
Yeah. Admiral Rudy, I think you're right. It'll be a good. You know what I'm going to say? It'll be the best second box you buy for Kill Team because you've already got the terrain, and now you've got four. You've got like a bunch of teams. I think it's good. I think it's a good set.
Just quickly, what is your favorite box? If apart from this one,
that one
before this one, I'm putting you on the spot.
You nightmare.
Yeah, I already know my answer. Nachman, yeah.
You know what? It's weird. It's weird because I love the terrain. Actually, you know what? Nachman terrain was great. I like Nachman terrain. It plays well. It plays well. There's some Chalnath, less so. I like Morok. The Morok. Oh, the Morok was weird because I had that massive building. They had that massive building in the middle, which I don't mind playing. It looks nice, but it's hard to play on. I'm thinking of Turning Point Tactics now. Shout out to Ryan Slater. The G that is Ryan Slater. Those map packs. I think Nachman probably, because it had Legionaries, and it's hard to say that I just don't love Legionaries. Yeah, they're still one of my favorite. But I like Morok because obviously the blooded. But Phobos, there's not been a set come out where I think both the teams... Has there been a set? Am I being stupid? Is there a set where both teams have been amazing?
Octaris.
There you go. You know what the original probably is. Yeah. Vet Guard, Commandos.
Because that's my favorite. Teams. That is still my favorite.
And arguably the best terrain.
Yep, without a doubt. Best terrain.
I think
two teams that have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Like, not only were they good when they came out, They've
they're still good now.
Remained good. They
might be getting better.
Yeah,
with these melee teams.
Yeah,
commandos might be getting better with these melee teams.
Yeah,
I feel like you've got a real good chance of you can do melee, charging from conceal. You can do melee real good. Deploy. You got snipers. You got dackers. You can shoot them down. Charge in.
Orcs could be interesting.
Great, yeah,
Orcs would be very interesting.
Orcs are always tricky. Always tricky. Never an easy match. Well, I'm sure there are with better players, but I don't have an easy match against them.
Well, look, this has been a very long episode. This is the longest we've ever talked casually about rules.
Smegan, hell, we're on hunt. Well, I didn't realize.
So our viewers at home may be blown away. We're blown away. But it is important that we do get to at least one, maybe two. We'll see how time goes. We got to get to everyone's favorite.
Are we going to play it up inside itself?
I think we have to.
Is this Rhys? Are we having a Rhys versus the people, Legions of Russ?
It's very important that we do.
Let's play it up inside itself then, Rhys.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Oh, yes, it's special. Now, obviously, it is Rhys versus the people. We've got no Ben today. He couldn't be a guest on his own show. So I did make a custom graphic. I was meant to make a custom song as well.
Oh, yes.
It didn't get done.
I forgot about this.
So I'm going to do, I'll do it live. I'll just do.
Oh, my God. You're just going to sing?
I'm just going to, it's going to be more musical, I think. It's just, here we go. Rhys
versus the people.
And we're back. It's happened live. It's Rhys versus the people. Rhys versus the people.
It was that was professionally filmed. That song.
Yes, obviously recorded in a studio.
It was still John Mayer though.
Obviously, yeah. We don't work with anyone else.
No. He's kind of on retainer now for these theme songs.
Hasn't got much else going on.
Big fan of the show. Big fan of the show.
So, chat, hold on to your butts because I'm going to have to hide it. I can't trash talk you live because that would be cheating. But I'm just going to move that down.
I can. I've got my screen is now looking at the chat. Papa Kraken is with the smack talk is starting.
It's begun. Good. This is what I like.
You're going down.
Oh,
you're going down.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a lowdown because technically we're in season 3 now, which is such an arbitrarily decided upon number. So I'm going to start counting these victories. I've got a new little setup now, so I'm going to start counting the Rhys versus the people games. Not that I'm anticipating any more like Rhys versus the peoples, but as they come and go, it's good to keep a track. It's good to keep a track. But welcome to Legions of Russ. It's that time again where we test the bounds of madness as the community we share. In this game show of sorts, I read out a clue, riddle, cryptic mind puzzle dredged forth, frothing and naked from the septic tank that is my brain, for you, our contestants, to guess upon. It could be a guard regiment, a legion of space marines, but regardless, it's likely to be obscure. But who knows? It could be your favorite. In this game, contestants, and if you can hear me, that means you, shout out your name as buzzers to hurl guesses like freshly warmed socks at me, your friendly host. And now, the victory conditions. First, we have the partial guess. If you can partially guess the correct answer, you gain 1 victory point. If you can do this before clues are given, then you will receive 2 victory points for your partial guess. And then we have the completion guess. If you make the completion guess, then you score 1 victory point. And as a bonus, if you score the partial and the completion guess at the same time without clues, you can score an additional victory point for the completion tack-up. And if that made sense to you at all, then your names are probably not Ben or Rhys. So let's go over to Rhys and see how he's feeling about fighting the people today. Rhys, how are you feeling?
Look, I wake up angry, just mad at the world. So any excuse to just start a fight with a room full of people that normally I love, but for today in this moment, I despise with every ounce of my being.
Sounds healthy.
Yeah, exactly. So I just put all my rage and hate into that, and I'm ready for it. I think it's therapeutic.
That's such a positive way. That's such a positive way to start one's day, and I love it. I love it. Yeah, Admiral Rudy, I wake up and I shit rage. That is what we're dealing with. This is the mentality in the chat.
He gets it. He gets it.
Diddy Mux is gone. I'm heading off now. I say Diddy Mux just because it's XD1DYMU5X, and for me, my diseased brain reads that as Diddy Mux. But I don't know if that's anyone else.
I'm not going to argue
Please
with you on
it. Let me know if Diddy Mux is not how you would like to be referred to as. You're going now, so you've already gone. So I'm just going to assume in your absence that Diddy Mux is cool.
No reply
forever be
means you're correct.
Yeah, no reply is a sent, and you shall be Diddy Mux in my heart forever. So I didn't realize how long we were going today. I think it's because I asked so many questions. We got
excited. There was a lot to talk about. I enjoyed talking about the rules live. I did enjoy.
I'm not gonna lie. I got very excited about that new team. I hadn't even looked at any of the Dark Communes teams, and damn.
I think I've got to make sure I read the rules even better though next time, so I can answer your questions.
Yeah. I really put you to the test. I feel bad about it.
It was the blind leading the blind. I was like,
I feel like we got somewhere. I feel like looking at that through our conversation, I feel like I got some insight into how I'm gonna try and play them. Very excited. Anyway, we've moved on to the next segment. So I'm going to keep the scores for Ben versus Rhys versus the people. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say I'll put your name down on the list where I take the scores.
But
I feel like the people probably have this. But you never know. You've arguably had more practice at this.
And some of the big hitters have left for today out of the chat too, so that makes me feel a bit more confident.
Lapscallion's kind of in the mix. We've got Admiral Rudy here, and we've got Papa Kraken.
Primaris Painter's left, before, I think.
So. Ali's gone, but Papa Kraken has admitted that he is insane, so has sort of an upper hand when it comes to Legions of Russ, which I feel is a key.
Yeah,
I feel that is part of it. I mean, trying to imitate my insanity is sort of helpful. And I feel like today's Legions of Russ do sort of encapsulate.
They lean into it.
They don't make a lot of sense. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a choice. We've got Imperium and we've got Chaos. I will let you pick the first, and then if we've got time, we can do a second.
Well,
Let's see. Where do you want to go?
In honor of your excitement about the Chaos team now, I think we have to go Chaos.
Love it. Okay. We're going Chaos, people. Get ready. Let's have a look. So, we're going Chaos.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know why I'm psyching myself up with silence. So...
Okay.
Is everyone ready? I hope if you're at home, if you're on the bus, it's been a while since we did a shout out to any transporters, any buses. I chatted with a guy. We had a tournament a couple of weekends ago now, and there's a lovely guy I was chatting to who said he was a long distance truck driver, and he listens to the podcast on the road. So if you're in your truck right now, you're driving and you're listening to Legions of Russ, big shout out to you.
Do the horn.
So that's yours. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. A standard gift from theologically wise men. And it's obvious, stupid. So you better leave. Time to hit the abbreviated streets. Plural. It's I'm going to give you a clue. It's one word. But a secondary clue. It is technically two words, but in true 40k fashion, it's one word.
Okay,
but it is two words. Let's be fair. So, a standard gift. I'll read it again slightly slower, as if Ben was here. A standard gift from theologically wise men, and it's obvious, stupid. So you better leave. Time to hit the abbreviated streets. Plural. I think someone said something that was, drone 4321. I don't think it's enough for a partial, but that is the end you've got there, mate. That is the end. I think you need something. I basically have split this into 4 little segments. So you need one other segment to be granted the partial. But you've definitely got the end. Definitely got the end. Rhys. Go for it.
Is the end section ghosts?
Oh, that is worth a yes. Partial victory point. You got that before the chat as well. Ghost. So it's obviously you better leave go. Time to hit the abbreviated streets. It's STS, plural, ghost.
Yeah, so yes. That's just the start. It's
just the start. So a standard gift from theologically wise men. And it's obvious, stupid.
Is it, Rhys, is it Mirage Ghosts?
It's not, but that is close.
Okay.
There's a mouthfeel about Mirage Ghosts.
Okay. That was me.
Gold Ghosts, it's not Gold Ghosts.
Yeah, because I was like...
Your head is in the right place.
Yeah. And the middle section is...
Oh, Rudy, you're so close.
Oh.
You're very close. Oh. You're basically there. But, so, let's carry on, Rhys. Ask a question. I'll leave the chat to their own devices for a little bit. I feel like you maybe need the help.
The first part is the 3 wise men. And then what was the thing about the stupid thing?
So I'm going to say that Rudy has now got it. Rudy has now got it. He managed to get it. So it's he's got. I mean, he does only get the completion victory point because you got the partial. So he takes that. But so it's 1 victory point to you, 1 victory point to there. So Andy, Clem got it. So the bit you were missing was it's obvious, stupid. Duh.
Oh.
So
the ghosts.
That was the weirdest part. The so something is obvious. So if something is obvious to stupid, you might say duh.
Oh yeah, I was feeling confident about the myrrh because I was like, that's the weird one. I was like, it's either going to be golden ghosts, but I was like, that doesn't sound very chaosy. I was like, I would. Yeah. That's like a space marine chapter.
There's a few people who put in gold ghosts.
Yeah. Because I was like, murder ghosts.
Murder. Yeah, murder ghosts. So it is indeed the murder ghost, and you might be able to guess, Rhys. Give me a guess. You don't get any victory points, just for the smug bonus. What kind of chaos warband? What alignment to a god do you think the murder ghosts are?
Khorne?
Bing, bing, bing. It is indeed a Khorne Demon King Heretic Astarte Demon King Heretic Astarte dedicated to the service of the Blood God. I'm going to let you know that these are the Classico, El Classicino. Little is known about the mysterious murder ghosts, save that they thought to have formed less than a standard century ago and have made an extensive use of raptors in their attacks. So the old, the raptors saw lots of jump packs, and they have the claws, the talons on their feet. So they kind of, not the warp talons, which are those cool dudes with their lightning fists that cut through the warp, and they kind of jump through these holes in the warp. But the raptors, so basically assault troopers.
Yes, assault marines. Yeah.
Basically assault marines with
bird legs.
Bird legs. They've got very cool bird legs.
If you say that instead of with talons, it makes them sound a lot wimpier. If you're like, they've got talons, it's cool. If you go, they've got bird legs. It's like,
big old chicken legs. Yeah, not as cool.
All right,
do we have time for another one, or should we wrap it up? We're going to do the other. So we've got an Imperium one. Let us play it up inside itself one more time.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Magical. Whoa. All right, so we're going back to Imperium of Moon.
The Empire of Moon. So we're here. We're back in it. So I think this one might be a quicker one.
Ooh.
But then I've said that and we've spent a lot of time.
That's very true. Happens a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to anticipate Andy Clem the thing that bothers you about the Legion of Russ theme song is that we say we're only going to say this once. Yeah. And that is why, my friend, we play it thrice. Inconsistency is our only consistency.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we are into our second Legions of Russ, the final Legions of Russ today, and another chance, because we're even at the moment, this is another chance for the people to take it from Rhys. Or will the glove fit or will it not fit? That is what we are looking to find out today. So, here we go. Think Imperium. Mm-hmm. It's 3 words.
Ooh.
Yeah. The rare 3-worder.
Ooh.
The unicorn of Legions of Russes. Yeah? Here we go.
Rhys.
Rhys?
Scions of Gilliman.
Holy... No, it's not. But that would have been... That would have been a 5-pointer. A 5-pointer for getting inside.
From the car park. From the car park. I was like, just put it up there.
That was the frag grenade upon entering the room.
Just
kicking open the door on you.
Imagine if I had a gun.
Well, imagine that with the day that happens, where I go, it's 2 words, and you guy just bullet out, and I'm like, we don't have a game now. I'm like, we've got nothing. It's like, it was. Roll the outro.
Yeah, that's it. Play it over itself.
Play it over itself. So, here we go. Rhys, how you feeling? You 1-on-1 with the chat.
I felt good out of the blocks there. Getting that early point on the board was good. I think I just need to.
With ghosts.
I just need to maintain.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think.
Chat was scared.
You came in strong.
Chat was scared. That's
Rudy,
what I'm saying.
I think Rudy. I don't want to say it, but Rudy cleaned up your mess. Let's be fair. You got ghosts, and you just shuffled it there, and you got the rest.
Not the first.
No. The chat cleaned up your mess there, but what let's be fair. Frequently, they get there before you. You get there, and there's only scraps left at the table. But let's see how you do on this one. Let's see how we can do. A transport vehicle for subterranean workers, sounding very much like a wise Roman goddess. It could be a 2-track vehicle with a gun, or it could have a single ambulatory limb, a watching orb touching the letter S. Papa Kraken, I think the chat needs you and your insight on this one, because this is potentially a bit insane, and I feel like you're there with me. You're there with me, brother. So I'll say it again slowly. A transport vehicle for subterranean workers, sounding very much like a wise Roman goddess. It could be a 2-track vehicle with a gun, or it could have a single ambulatory limb, a watching orb touching the letter S.
Rhys.
Now, there's a lot of stuff. There's no way you have this.
Just the first word.
There's no... Really? Oh, cool. Okay, Rhys, go for it.
Carthian?
Ooh, it's not. But I like what you were thinking. Oh, holy smokes!
No,
Papa Kraken. What a ledge has got the first word. Oh. That's a partial already. Okay, love it.
Shit.
Well, you've got to add. Okay. I just realized you're 99% of the way. You're 99% of the way. If what you just guessed was actually some sort of truck thing, a 3-letter truck. Yeah, basically Andy Clem. Yeah, you basically tied that knot up for us there. Yeah. So, chat's already got 1 victory point, but I know we still need to get you there, Rhys. So, I'm going to break it down a little bit.
Okay.
So, a transport vehicle for subterranean workers, sounding very much like a wise Roman goddess. That is all the first word. And that's basically 2 ways of saying or thinking about the first word. Holy smokes, that's 2 victory points for the chat as Andy Clem has just sniped it. And that's a 4 victory point swing for the chat because that is the 4 and Andy Clem, they got there. I'm gonna take the chat as as like an entity. I think Papa Kraken got them there, and then they just they sniped it through. But yes. Now they're just gonna as Drone 4321 says, let Rhys suffer now.
They're gonna watch it happen live.
So here we go. So basically, might as well go into clue territory. So, basically, the first part of this word is either a transport vehicle for subterranean workers. This was a little kind of play on words, or you can either say it sounds very much like a wise Roman goddess. So they're both different ways, separately, of getting the first clue. So you can either think wise Roman goddess, sounds like a lot like that, or you can think, what would Russ call a transport vehicle for subterranean workers? So you can either go with madness or history.
Yeah, okay.
Those are your only options, I'm afraid.
Wow.
That's the first one.
See, I went Greek god too. I realized I went Athena. That's where Carthena came.
Very well. I thought you'd done well. That's what I mean. You were not wrong. You had the right mouthfeel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was there. You were in the same realms of it. You know, I'm going to give you a clue. I'm going to give you a clue. You're not wrong with Athena, really.
Yeah.
But you are thinking the wrong civilization, like the wrong group of people.
Yeah.
So you're thinking Greek.
It should have been
whereas
Roman, it's Roman.
But you're thinking the right goddess.
Yes.
Like, that's
what's the Roman equivalent of Athena? Which is
basically. But I'll give you a clue. Think Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter. Do you know Harry Potter that well?
I know her.
Okay. So her full name is very similar.
Oh, fuck no.
Or you can go back to the original, which is, what are subterranean workers, or workers that would go underground to
miners.
Right. What is a form of transport that you would use to carry a bunch of people, potentially men, miners, or women, miners?
Oh, a cart.
A group of people. I know you think car, but think a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. One step up.
Bus. I got that.
One step down.
A cart.
One step up. A half a step up. You generally you could get either one of these, or you could get a mini. But it's not bus.
That's a mini bus. Well.
Yeah.
I'm seriously drawing a blank on this. This the subterranean thing has got me. That's where my knowledge is for. My knowledge of subterranean transport vehicles is absolutely crippling me.
So it's men in. You can get jobs where it's a man in. Black. Or if you wanted to go plural, you could go men in van. Or singular would be a man in...
A van.
Van, yes. So, it's minor, van, or Minerva.
It's Minerva.
Minerva's the Roman goddess of knowledge. Yes, so she's the Roman equivalent of Athena. So Minerva, and Professor McGonagall is called Minerva. McGonagall.
See, my Harry Potter and my subterranean knowledge.
There was 3 different levels. I was like, which one to lean into? So I wasn't too sure.
I'm not sure that makes it better. I know. I couldn't remember what the equivalent was. I was like,
was such a good guess, though. Carthena was. I was like, you're so close in all the right areas, but both of them need to be tweaked. So, but we're not done yet.
No, we're not.
It could be a 2-track vehicle with a gun.
A tank.
There you go. So Minervan tank, or it could have a single ambulatory limb, a watching orb, touching the letter S. So now, I admit the last bit is weird.
Is that eyes for the end of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So it's a single watching orb is eye.
Eye with an S on the end.
Touching.
Yeah.
The letter S.
Oh.
So the letter S is literally just the letter S.
Yeah, but
so
it's
you
the
add
touching.
An S. Touching. So like a synonym for touching, like if you thesaurused the word touching,
caress,
on top,
poke,
a lot of the you're very sexual with this.
Sorry, these are the eyebrow raisers. Yeah,
jiggle,
caress.
So yeah, it basically just means it's hard. No, no. It's hard explaining it, not it's hard. That's not what I'm looking for because we're getting very close.
This is exciting. I'm excited.
Excited. Are you thinking about the dark commune
Minerva tank?
My God,
the Minerva tank something. I'm trying to think of my Imperium lexicanum to make it easier as well, like to piece it together. Is the chat just losing it about how distant I was on this one? I was
a little bit. I was not even They're being very kind. No.
I was not even in the neighborhood. The Minerva tank brigade.
Rudy's away. I was going to read out some of their guesses, but I can't because you're still not there.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some good guesses. People are now coming in with different guesses that include boners and ear nibbling. But yeah.
The Minerva tank boners.
The Minerva tank.
All right, so the first bit, an ambulatory limb.
Yes. You normally have two of them to amble or ambulate with. You might ambulate around the promenade, but a singular one of them would start this off. Exactly, Black Sword. That's what it is.
Is it armies?
It's the other, so it's not
leggies.
If you were ambulating on this, you'd be like in the circus.
Okay.
But yeah, so it is leg,
eye,
a watch, touching, ending with an S. You are on top. You are. It's hard to describe. It's really hard. It's a 2-letter word, and it's very hard to describe the word without using the word.
Yeah. So touching on.
You'd be on top of.
Legends or legions.
Legion.
Oh my God.
It is the Minervan. Yes, you know what, Black Sword, I did think of the opposite of on. I was like the opposite of off because I've used that before. I was like, but I almost wanted it to kind of like go in, like it makes sense. I know it doesn't make sense. None of them make sense, but I was like a single limb, a watching orb touching the letter S, whereas like a single limb watching orb, the opposite of off letter S. And I was like, it could work. But I went for the more difficult.
Yeah.
Because I hate Rhys.
That was painful, and I'm so sorry to the chat. Wow. That was not my best.
They came in, chat. I think Papa Kraken's a bit of a mythology nerd, he says. So they got a good leg up part. They got a good single ambulatory limb up when Papa Kraken came in with the old Minerva. And then, then the chat just went, and I think we had Andy Clem. Although Clam's a good one too. Came in with Minervans, and then we had Minervan Tank Company. So joint effort from the chat, but they managed to snipe that one. I mean, whoo!
Oh God,
it was a good one. Good work from the chat there.
Well done, everyone. Thank you very much for putting up with that. That was painful. Well, I guess there's. Do you want to tell us about the Tank Legion? Sorry, I totally.
Oh yes, sorry. I did as well. So the Minervan Tank Legions are the elite armored regiments of the Imperial Guard, and they hail from the civilized world of, you've guessed it, Minerva.
Checks out.
Apparently, they originally hailed from the hive world of Armageddon. The classic that we all hear about. And are descended from the settlers that came from the first Steel Legion. So they're very well regarded in the realm of armored warfare, and they serve as one of those kind of like model regiments, armored regiments specifically within the Imperial Guard. So they're very well thought of in terms of tank warfare, and they fought a lot in the I think the Third War for Armageddon. So lots of tank legions that they presumably lots of legions of Russ. Legions of
Russ.
Legions of Russ. I meant Lehman Russes, obviously. But yeah, I don't think they've got. Yeah, here we go. So they do have Lehman Russ battle tanks.
Checks out. We'll allow it.
Best of the tanks. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's the Minervan Tank Legion, and that is unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you're rooting for, that is a victory for the chat. That's in this new season, let's call it this new season of Kill Team Casuals and Rhys versus the people. We have the victory going to the people. Well done, the people.
Boo to the people. Boo.
Unlucky Rhys. The glove, it did fit.
So
they could not.
They could not have quit.
Yeah, the chat would not quit, and they got the answers. But there you go. That's it. That's the Legions of Russ and Rhys versus the people rolled into one.
All right, time to play ourselves out.
Let's play it
out. Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Well, there we go. It's been a long show. Thank you for sticking with us today. This has gotten out of hand. It's gotten long. I need a rest, and it's the morning here. You need to go to bed. Have a bath. Go to bed. The chat, just have a bath in general. Okay, I was meant to have given you guys a bath, but didn't get around to it.
It's been a crazy show. We've talked a lot about nipples and boners. Apparently, let's clean ourselves off. Basically.
Thank you so much, as always, to everyone in the chat. We love having you guys in there. Keeps us honest, helps us remember the rules that we're talking about that we forget, and love having you guys in there for a bit of Rhys versus the people. Thank you to our Patreons. As always, you guys are literally keeping some of the lights on in our house. We're running off the smell of an oily rag just to bring this show to you. Obviously, Ben went hungry this week. That's why he's not here. He didn't have the energy. But no, thank you. We really appreciate everyone doing that. And as always, we'll be back next week with more shenanigans. And Ben will be back then as well. Russ, as always, mate, thanks for joining us.
Oh, Rhys, it's my pleasure to be a guest continuously on the show. Rhys, it's always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend. Thank you for once again coming on the show and, saving us with Rhys's rules. I am genuinely excited about this Chaos Cultist team, even more so than I was after the Rhys's rules segment.
Just I'm very much looking forward to them. I'm a hype man. Yeah. I'm glad I could get you up and about.
Corporate shill.
Do we get anything for free yet? No? Okay, we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying.
We can't even get a bunda for free. You know what I mean? We can't even get a bunda bag for free.
Oh, out
here pushing the word.
All right, until next time, everyone. We'll see you then. Boy.
As always, a big old sloppery wet kiss of a thank you to all our patrons who help support the channel. A huge thanks to Kill Team Ken, Roscoe88, Justin Kung, Average Joe 27, Kill Team Cascadia, Craig F. Lincoln, George, Alan Chapman, Hillux, Swanky McMofo, Stooge Co., Admiral Rudy, Michael Richard, Gordon Ballantyne, Dave B, Io Adrian, Jack Trilly Chatterjee, Vincent Cerruti, and my man Beans. We couldn't do half of what we do without your support, so thanks so much.